Hello all, this is Umesh, History Faculty at Manifest IAS, and this is the current Jots initiative that we have started, and till now we have covered a significant section of current affairs on polity, and now we are going to move ahead into the domain which is culture. As part of this current Jots initiative in the domain of culture and history, we are planning to start a series on current Jots on culture. And as part of this series, because of the specific demands of the subject that is culture, we have started a series on World Heritage Sites which are present in India. All the World Heritage Sites which are present in India, we are going to cover as part of this series, okay, because there are many reasons for us to start this initiative, which is the World Heritage Series initiative as part of our current Jots on culture. Why we are doing it is primarily these are the main reasons, these are the 7 main reasons based on which we have thought about it thoroughly, and we have come up with this current Jots initiative on this culture.
Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.
The first and foremost is that in UPSC, many a times students are getting very much surprised with the kind and range of questions on culture. And these questions on culture, you cannot crack them based on one single book reading. It is impossible. It is next to impossible. Whatever book you take right now, which is being prescribed in market, take Nitin Singhania, take Introduction to Indian Art, whatever book you pick up today, it is not sufficient to solve the questions on the culture, because the questions have gone a little beyond the textbooks. Okay, what they are trying to do, they are trying to check your awareness about Indian culture and heritage, and as part of this, they are definitely going to ask questions, more and more questions on exploratory dimensions in Indian culture. Okay, and as part of this, if you are not supposed to just follow one textbook, so what is the source which is present in market today or in UPSC domain today in order to solve these questions on culture is something which we have deeply thought about. And out of this thinking, we thought that we can do a series on internationally recognized cultural sites of India. It's not just about the cultural sites, but the intangible heritage also we can do. Some of these elements we can actually pick up as themes and we can discuss them in order for you to get a better understanding over culture. Okay, and because see, as I have pointed out earlier, based on just textual reading, you will not be able to solve the culture questions. So there is a need for a different approach, and this approach needs to be based on the interest of the candidate, and definitely when it comes to giving quality information with respect to any World Heritage Site, then automatically the students' interest will also be intrigued. Okay, and apart from intriguing the students' interest, we are also trying to be relevant. And one more thing that we have seen recently is, it's not just about the UPSC aspirants, but many Indians feel very proud of their cultural heritage. Yes or no? In normal drawing room discussions and conversations, we always hear to this thing that I am very proud of my Indian culture. What exactly is a person proud of? Okay, what culture exactly? Now there is a single narrative which is dominating, which says that without any basis, which proclaims itself to be superior. Okay, on what basis are you claiming our Indian culture and heritage to be superior? Okay, this is one thought which has been running across my head for quite long. So that is the reason why what I wanted to do is I wanted to provide the objective basis on which you can actually feel proud of Indian culture. So for this, we thought about all these things, and this is the time of a crisis. Okay, right now we are shut down in our own homes, and at this point of time, Manifest IAS wanted to bring to you, okay, the most important aspect or the best way to utilize this time is to actually break into new paths and dimensions in your preparation. Okay, don't be confined to your standard textbooks. Okay, try different methods of learning, and as part of this, and as part of pushing the frontier of UPSC preparation, we are starting this World Heritage series, and as pointed out now, what best method to select these cultural sites than the international recognition which has been provided for them for their outstanding universal value. Okay, that is the first and foremost thing. So first and foremost thing that we thought about is that all of these sites are internationally recognized Indian culture and heritage. Okay, and apart from that, they stand testimony to Indian culture and traditions and value system. Okay, these buildings, they are not just mere buildings, they are trying to convey a message to us. That's why I have put the name of sermons in stone. They are trying to preach something to the current generation. Because of this reason only, they have been selected as World Heritage Sites, because they are of outstanding universal value. They are very much relevant even today. The values that they stood for, what did they stand for, is something which is very, very significant for us. So definitely we are going to explore this dimension too. Then explore on the exchange of human values in the Indian subcontinent. Okay, see, this is very, very significant because Indian subcontinent has been the crucible for exchange of numerous human values. Okay, various human values. We have seen that there is a significant exchange in human values in Indian subcontinent, ranging from the Indus Valley period to the current times. Okay, India has always been a crucible for exchange of human values. This also dimension also we are going to have a look at. Then we will get a thorough awareness of the rich cultural heritage of India. Then the natural heritage of India also we will be covering, because the World Heritage Sites, they are not just confined to culture. They are also we also have numerous natural heritage sites too. We will have a deep understanding and discussion about these things. And as pointed out, we are also going to use the crisis that is right now there as an opportunity in order to explore newer dimensions in UPSC preparation, because knowledge is the lifeline of a UPSC aspirant. Okay, and we should always try to improve our knowledge. Okay, then only we will be able to achieve success in UPSC preparation, because looking at the prelims and mains question paper, they are damn dynamic. Okay, and the student and the institutes also have to be very dynamic with respect to their preparation. As part of this only, we have started this initiative. Then this entire content which is present here as part of this series is highly relevant for UPSC, and at the same time it tries to enhance the students' understanding about Indian culture and heritage. Okay, we are going to make a very honest effort in decoding the Indian culture for you, honest attempt in decoding the Indian culture for you without having any political bias as process of this. Okay, so please stay tuned with us in order to get good information on Indian culture. Okay, now if we have a look at the first and foremost thing is who recognizes these World Heritage Sites. The World Heritage Sites are recognized by United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, which is a specialized agency of United Nations, which is based or headquartered in Paris, that is France. It has a total of 195 member states as part of it, and it also contains an executive board which contains 58 member states. It is headed by a general secretary kind of person, a general secretary, and he takes most crucial decisions about United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. And this organization has been in news lately for most of the wrong reasons, particularly with respect to withdrawal of the funding by USA and withdrawal of membership by America and Israel for recognizing Palestine as an associate member in UNESCO. Okay, these are the kind of news for which it has been in news, which we will discuss as a different issue later. But right now, the main purpose of this organization is it tries to promote international collaboration in education, sciences, culture. Okay, it is promoting international collaboration in education, sciences and culture. Okay, we are supposed to this UNESCO as a World Heritage, as a specialized agency of UN, it tries to promote international collaboration in education, science and culture. Okay, in order to promote justice, rule of law and human rights. See the objective of UNESCO. It is trying to promote peace through intellectual collaboration, because out of better understanding there is a greater possibility for peace. Okay, peace cannot sustain in isolation. Through complete engagement between cultures, peace is a natural outcome. This is the belief of UNESCO, and this organization, it is a successor for International Committee on Intellectual Cooperation, which is a part of League of Nations earlier. And this as this UNESCO as an organization, apart from promoting education, it also tries to promote preserve culture. Okay, both natural and historical culture, both of them it tries to preserve. And as part of this, what they did was they started a series called, or they started recognizing some sites as World Heritage Sites. These sites are very thoroughly read, or very thoroughly understood, or very thoroughly selected. Okay, let me be very clear, they are very thoroughly selected. There is a elaborate procedure based on which this UNESCO World Heritage Sites are designated in the UNESCO's list, and these sites are usually protected under law of war. Okay, under law of war, that is both Geneva Convention and Hague Convention. As part of both of them, these sites are protected. These sites are protected under both the Geneva Convention and Hague Convention, which is a law of war. It means that these sites get special protection during times of conflict. Then apart from this, the very definition of heritage which is given by UNESCO is that heritage is our legacy from the past, and it is something which we live with, and it is something which we pass on to the future generations. That is what heritage is. And UNESCO, it tries to preserve this heritage, which is a common property of entire mankind. Okay, it does not differentiate these cultural heritage sites with respect to the geographical boundaries, okay, or the nation states. It tries to consider these World Heritage Sites as common property of humanity, and while selecting these World Heritage Sites, UNESCO has a very thorough system. Okay, it says that any World Heritage Site should be of outstanding universal value and need at least one out of the 10 selection criteria, which it has very specifically given. We will just have a look at these 10 selection criteria. Okay, and it should be, the first and foremost is to represent a masterpiece of human creative genius. Okay, when it comes to the masterpiece of human creative genius, I will try to explain each criteria with respect to one heritage site of India. Okay, masterpiece of human creative genius in India is Taj Mahal. Okay, Taj Mahal represents the best example of masterpiece of human creative genius because of its architectural perfection, with respect to its architectural perfection and symmetry and mastery over decoration. All of these aspects make it a masterpiece of human creative genius. Then, to exhibit an important interchange of human values over a span of time is the second criteria. Okay, when it comes to this exhibit an important interchange of human values, the first and foremost thing that we can see is to exhibit an important interchange of human values. Here, this Gujarat architecture is the best example in India. The Gujarat architecture, it represents the ideal blend of Hindu and Muslim ideas of construction. It is represented both at Champaner Pavgada and in Ahmedabad. In both sites, it represents the interchange of human values. Then, to bear a unique or at least exceptional testimony to a cultural tradition or a civilization, bearing an unique or least exceptional testimony to a cultural tradition or civilization. Okay, this is something which is very important, and the site which fits into this description is Bodh Gaya, which is present in India. It is a unique testimony to Buddhist heritage of India. We are going to discuss more about this site later. Okay, when you look at the other criteria, it should be an outstanding example of a type of building. Okay, for this outstanding example of a type of building, we can talk about the Sanchi Stupa, which is present in India. The Sanchi Stupa, it is definitely an outstanding example of the type of building which is known as a stupa. Then, to be an outstanding example of traditional human settlement, land use or sea use, which is representative of a culture. Under this criteria, we can put both either Hampi or Ahmedabad, which is recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site today. Both of these things, they are traditional human settlements which represent a unique method of land use. If you go to Hampi, you can see that agricultural fields are present inside the fortification walls. Okay, the 7 concentric fort walls. We are going to discuss more about it, but this kind of criteria is also present. Then it also should be directly or tangibly associated with events or living traditions. So the things which are associated with the living traditions. Okay, let's take the best example for this is Jantar Mantar in Jaipur. Jantar Mantar in Jaipur, it is the best representative of the Hindu astronomical system. The Hindu astronomical system, in order to measure the places of planets in Hindu astronomical system, this entire structure has been built. So the living tradition is Hindu astronomy, and the structure which is associated with is Jantar Mantar. That way, Jantar Mantar has also been included in the UNESCO World Heritage Site. Then it also should contain superlative natural phenomena or areas of exceptional natural beauty and aesthetic importance. This is for natural heritage sites, and as part of this, you can consider that Valley of Flowers in the Himalayan Belt. The Valley of Flowers in Himalayan Belt, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This this actually shows this beauty and aesthetic importance component. It is very clearly visible. Then apart from this, you can see that it should be an outstanding example of Earth's geological history. If we see the national parks which are present in the Himalayas, you can definitely say that the Great Himalayan National Park in Himachal Pradesh, it represents the geological evolution, because the Himalayas, they host the entire geological evolution. So that site also we are going to discuss, because it is also part of the World Heritage Site. Then it should represent a significant ongoing ecological and biological process. The best example for this is Western Ghats, okay, because there is a continuous speciation in Western Ghats. We are finding newer and newer species in Western Ghats. The entire region is a world hotspot, and which is a place for ongoing ecological and biological process. Then the last one is most important significant natural habitat for in situ conservation of biological diversity. Okay, in situ conservation of biological diversity, the best example is the World Heritage Sites which are present in Assam today, in Assam and Brahmaputra Valley, that is Manas National Park, okay, once again Manas Wildlife Sanctuary and Kaziranga Wildlife Sanctuary. Both of these, they represent this in situ conservations. Best example for in situ conservations, particularly with respect to one horned and rhino, okay, and other species which are present, which are representative of these sites. All of these are representative of the unique cultural and natural heritage of India. So in this fashion, their 10 criteria are present and they should be of outstanding universal value, okay, and the protection and management also has been included since 1992 as important aspect in the World Heritage Site selection. Okay, it means that the sites which are not very well protected, they are not included, and in total there are a total of 38 World Heritage Sites located in India. And for the sake of classification, nearly 30 sites are cultural sites, 7 are natural sites in India, and 1 mixed criteria site. 1 mixed criteria sites means which is significant for both natural reasons and cultural reasons. There is one site which is present, which is known as Kanchenjunga National Park, okay, that is significant for both cultural and natural phenomena. And in India, we have the 6th largest number of sites, that is 38 in number, and the most recently added is the city of Jaipur, pink city of Jaipur. We are going to have a discussion about it. But in order to understand things better, what I did was I have structurally integrated these things into various architectural styles. Okay, structurally integrated these things into various architectural styles for better understanding, because they fit into the same architectural pattern or style. They are included together. Okay, see, first and foremost is cave architecture of India. In that we have included nearly 4 UNESCO World Heritage Sites: Ajanta, Ellora, Elephanta and Bhimbetka. All of these come under the cave architecture of India. When it comes to the Buddhist architecture and heritage, Sanchi Stupa, Bodh Gaya and Nalanda, all the 3 components will be integrated into one session. Then apart from Buddhist heritage, 2 sites of Dravidian architecture, group of monuments at Mahabalipuram, which is very, very significant this year because of the visit of Chinese president to Mahamalapuram. Okay, there has been a lot of coverage in newspapers about Mahamalapuram. It is very, very important. And Cholan temples, the living temples of Cholas, are also part of the World Heritage Site. And when it comes to the Nagara architecture, nearly 3 temples are recognized as World Heritage Sites, which is Konark Sun Temple, group of temples at Khajuraho, and Rani Ka Vav, which is present in Gujarat. Then in Vesara's architecture, we have only one example, that is group of temples at Pattadakal, which has been included as World Heritage Site. All of these are ancient World Heritage Sites, whereas when it comes to the medieval period, there is a completely preserved archaeological city, that is Hampi, which is very, very important for us. Then foundational site of Islamic architecture is the Qutub Minar complex. Then Islamic city architecture of Gujarat, okay, which is pre-Mughal. There we see 2 sites which have been included into the World Heritage Site, which is Tampiner Pavgana and historic city of Ahmedabad. Both of them together we will handle in one video. Then classical Islamic architecture during Mughal period, both Humayun's tomb and Taj Mahal, we are going to discuss in one session. Okay, all the standard feature of the said architectural style we are going to discuss. Then the specific examples with respect to the World Heritage Site, we are going to discuss about them too. Next one is the Islamic era forts. The next one is the Islamic era forts, okay, which are the Agra Fort, Fatehpur and Red Fort. Okay, Fatehpur Sikri, Agra Fort and Red Fort, they are very, very important for us. Okay, all 3 of them we are going to discuss, have a thorough discussion about it. But the broad architectural framework of all these forts is more or less the same. There are just some important variations with respect to each fort we are going to discuss. Then we have the hill forts of Rajasthan, we are going to discuss them too. Okay, all of them have the 6 hill forts of Rajasthan, all of them have the same architectural features more or less. Okay, only a few exceptions are there. Then 2 late medieval cities and architecture has been included as part of World Heritage Site series, which is Pink City of Jaipur and Jantar Mantar complex. Both of them we are going to discuss. Then apart from that, during a modern period, okay, British Indian architecture we can see in 3 sites or 3 regions. One is Chhatrapati Maharaja Terminus, okay, or Victoria Terminus in Maharashtra, which is representative of a classical Gothic architecture. Then the Victorian Art Deco ensemble of Mumbai, which has been recognized as a World Heritage Site last year. Okay, we are going to discuss about it too. Then Mountain Railways of India. Total of 3 mountain railways have been recognized as World Heritage Sites in India. Then Portuguese architecture, churches and convents of Goa we are going to discuss. Then post-independent Indian architecture, one and most important one is the Capitol complex at Chandigarh, which has been built by Lee Corbusier and has been recognized as a World Heritage Site, along with all other constructions of Lee Corbusier across the continents. Okay, some of his constructions in Europe, some of his constructions in Africa, all of them have been included. Then when it comes to the mixed heritage site, I have already talked about it, Kanchenjunga. Then apart from that, natural heritage of Assam we will cover in 2 national parks or wildlife sanctuaries, which is Kaziranga and Manas. Then mangrove forest, Sundarbans we are going to cover. Himalayan national parks we are going to cover, Great Himalayan National Park and Nanda Devi and Valley of Flowers. So in this fashion we are going to cover both, and the biodiversity hotspot, which is Western Ghats, we are going to do one specific video on Western Ghats. Then man-made wetland, this is very important. Keoladeo National Park in Bharatpur, Rajasthan, we are going to discuss, have a thorough discussion on these 2. So in this fashion we are going to organize the entire knowledge or content in a different fashion, and we are going to explore newer dimensions which are part of the changing dynamics of UPSC. So now, in order to show you the proof of how these can be relevant in the examination, see these 2 main questions. One is Paleolithic rock art, and it is directly associated with the site Bhimbetka. If you know about Bhimbetka, we are going to write the answer very simple and clear. Okay, and the question here, the question which has been given, it cannot be answered directly based on your textbook knowledge of the said thing. Then Cholan architecture represents the highest watermark in temple architecture. That is also one more main question. Okay, this also we will be able to write if we explore the World Heritage Sites of India in a proper fashion. Then apart from this, there are many prelims questions. Just I have picked one question from the previous year, that is Kalyana Mandapa question, which is part of Vijayanagara architecture. So these kind of elements we are going to give or get a thorough clarity as part of this World Heritage series. Okay, and we are going to cover all these sites. Okay, and the positive outcome of this is that you will have a lot of awareness about Indian culture. Whenever you visit the site, you will be able to identify these features. Okay, and we are trying to give a very thorough analysis of the architectural features, the materials used, the history of a given site. All of these aspects we are going to cover, bundled together as part of this World Heritage series. Okay, that is why it is going to be a very interesting ride for you people. Okay, please be part of this series and follow the videos regularly, because they will be posted one in the morning and one in the afternoon for the next coming week. Okay, please stay tuned and subscribe to Manifest IAS. Okay, thank you.